Sanibonani babukeli sinamukele kwintandokazi yohlelo Yilungelo Lakho, it's your right. Siza kunina la kumahamba phambili SABC 1 eMzansi for sure. Uhleli noMangcolosi uAlisha uNhlanhla wakajali. Ngithi nje mbukeli sanibonani makhaya 0117140670. Alternatively ungasithola kule number 0608449857. Mbukeli lolu ke uhlelo lethu lokugcina kulonyaka ngesizathu phela sokuthi nizobe nibuka ibhola lika nobhutshuzwayo ngisho wona ka FIFA World Cup Games. Kodwa ungabi nesixhala, siyabuya futhi next year emoyeni ngomhla ka 10 January 2023. Okwamanje ke asingene shiqe odabeni lethu namhlanje. Mbukeli abaningi bethu sinamaphupho esifisa phela ukuthi siwafeze ngezimali zethu zempeshini uma phela sekufika isikhathi sokuthi sithathe umhlala phansi. Kodwa ke ungathini uma wena usuthola ukuthi ukhokhelwa imali yempesheni engaphansi kunaleyo obuyilindele? Leso ke ngathi isimo esibulala amaphupho nemizwa yabantu abaningi emva kweminyaka beyikhandla besebenza. Ake sizwe nanku umbiko mbukeli esudidelwe insizwa uVuyisile Mdoda.
Amawaka abasebenzi bakahulumende bajongene nemeko elusizi ingakumbi abo babeke ithemba kwimali zabo zomhlala phansi nabajonge ukuzifumana emva kweminyaka bephangela. Kusukela ngomhla wokuqala kuNovemba lonyaka kuye kwatshintshwa indlela ekubalwa ngayo imali ekufuneka ize kwepokothweni xa urhoxa ingqeshweni kahulumende. Ingcali zithi kunezizathu ezinyanzelise elinyathelo xa bezikhumsha bathi actuarial interest factors.
Bathi bona bazonciphisa lesibalo ebesikhuluma ngaso se-actuarial interest factor. They are reducing that for the various age levels, for the various numbers of years you have been working. So the longer you have been working with the GEPF, you are taxed more. Umzekelo nginawo ngothi kukhona iclient eliseNyukhasela that had about 5.2 million rands on the 31st or the last date of October. But umevuka ekuseni sekuNovember akasenawo 5.2 million ku-benefit statement yakhe. Usena 3.8 million rands. Why? Because we are trying as the GEPF to reduce the leakage of imali ephumayo lana.
U-Owen Ngomo umhlalutyi wesimo soqoqosho uthi nangona ulutshintsho lwendlela yokubala imali zepenshini libuhlungu bengekho kwenza ngakumbi. Uthi izinga labantu abarhoxa ingqeshweni okanye kwi-GEPF lubeka emngciphekweni ikamva yemali ye-GEPF. Njani?
I-GEPF ifana naleli class, leli class ngalenza libe umzekelo wemali egcinwe ku-GEPF, and this class should always be a full, meaning that mase calculate abantu abangakule sandla sakwa right, people who should be earning from this one. When they want to earn, there must always be money. Kanti imali ephumayo, it must be replaced by imali engenayo coming from our contributions of the people who are still working. People who are still working, they're contributing to the GEPF scheme, but contribute to the class. The whole men ngokufanayo, our employers, all the various departments, they are putting water into the class. But here's what happens. At the end of the month, the people who are on retirement or retired with the scheme, they are earning a salary from it. And the people who are resigning from the scheme, they are getting a portion of this money being given to them. So by bank account, no companies are to invest for them. So now what is happening with GEPF, we are ubuga through doing these calculations of actuarial interest and evaluation of lesamba lesukutsi namalini mabebheka phambili eminyakeni elandelayo ukuthi kungenzeka ukuthi lesisamba, if they don't do anything, the numbers are going to start falling. Numbers that guarantee that the members who are now retired and the members who are now taking money as resignation might not have enough money based on the rate of ukukhishwa kwemali.
Ingaba sisiqalo nesiphelona esi okanye sihleze kubekho impinde emva kweminyaka emithathu kusukela namhlanje? Masibeke indlebe sive nezinye izinto ezichaphazeleyo. Kuvuyisile Mdoda, Yilungelo Lakho.
Siyabonga-ke ngalowo mbiko esudidiyelwe ubaba uVuyisile Mdoda Mbukeli. Kodwa-ke ngabe yiziphi izinto phela ezingabe imbangela ukuthi wena ukhokhelwe imali yempesheni encane kunaleyo obuyilindile? Ukusiza ukudinga idalo ludaba samukele izivakashi sethu namhlanje sinayo ubaba uSimanga Selemeni okhulumela abe-GEPF okuyilabo-ke Mbukeli abaphethe ezezimpesheni zabasebenzi bakahulumeni. Baba uSimanga, siyakwamukela baba ohlelweni. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thank you and the viewers at home.
Thank you so much baba. Awusichazele nje mawubona lapha baba uSimanga ku-insert abantu abaningi ngathi abayazi lento ebizwa ukuthi bathi i-actuarial interest factor e-affecta abantu uma sebeyokhipha imali zabo zempesheni. Uyichaza kanjani wena baba lento?
I think let me start by acknowledging that this could be a very difficult concept to explain. And I'll try to make practical examples on how it is applied. Secondly, that this phenomenon or the valuation of the fair value of money paid on resignation has always been there since 2004.
Okay.
And this is how it comes about. Because the GEPF is a defined benefit fund where benefits are guaranteed in law. And it uses the formula to determine benefits. The formula that is used is the years of service multiplied by your average salary over a period of two years, just
Okay.
before retirement.
Okay.
And because that has been put there with an understanding that people are going to exit on retirement.
Okay.
When a person leaves before then,
A resigner, noma kune
Resigner.
termination of employment.
exactly,
Yeah.
or when a person leaves with less than 10 years, then the fund is required to calculate that person's fair value of the benefits
Okay.
up until at that stage, because initially the projections were such that the person will retire at 60 years.
Yeah.
And now, because you leave before that period, we need to calculate what is the fair value of your resignation benefits at that point. So that's why we then come to those actual interest to be able to pay what is fair
Okay.
and the true value of what the person would have accumulated up until at that stage of resignation.
Okay. And then niyabachazela ama members wenu baba mebethatha, I mean mebefika under the GEPF ilokhuzana i-government pension scheme. Niyabachazela ukuthi uma kuukuthi uqala ukusebenza nathi hlambe usuneminyaka ewu40 usuzo resign, meaning ususebenze hlambe 20 years. So ama benefits wakho are not going to be le amount ozoyicabanga. Niyabachazela ama members wenu, are they aware? Because I'm aware ukuthi you've just recently embarked on road shows ukuthi nizama ukuthi nichazele abantu ngalo lo hlelo lolo.
Look, all members of the GEPF receive what we refer to as a benefit statement.
Okay.
On a regular basis. That benefit statement explains about 3 or 4 things, if I can still recall correctly. The first one, it talks of your resignation benefit,
Okay.
which is what you will get when you retire at the normal retirement age.
Okay.
It then also gives you a resignation benefit. It tells you what you will get at the point when you resign, exit the system.
Okay.
It also gives you what you would have accumulated in case you passed on while in service.
Okay.
Now, the topic we are discussing today only affects you if you resign after the 1st of November 2022.
Okay.
For those who are going to go on normal retirement, their money remains as they were promised.
Okay.
Nothing changes, because then they would have left at an appropriate time as per the projections made by our actuaries. But when you leave before then you are then saying to us, calculate the money now and not when I resign at 60.
Okay.
The example that I made earlier on, and I think this is probably a very elementary example.
Yes.
If you go to a bank and open a 32 days account, notice, you put in 1,000 rand, the bank will say after 32 days, you would have accumulated an extra 100 rand on your 1,000
Interest,
rand.
yes.
But if you are to break that 32 days notice and require your money now, you will not get a 1,100. Even you would not get 1,000 rand that you put there. You would allow the bank to penalize you for having withdrawn before the
32
projected
day,
time.
yes.
Exactly. It is almost similar like that. I hope with that, actuaries would not fight me for having made it that simple.
Siyabonga baba ukuthi we simplify. I mean, let's go back to ukuthi ubani affected. I know you've just said ukuthi ilaba, obviously laba about keep imali before the stipulated time, but I know we're talking about government pensions. Is this general practice across wonke in the private sector kanye namanye ama pension schemes baba, or is it just specifically for those abasebenza under government?
I think this affects all the whole of the industry because
so it's industry standard, basic industry practice.
The same principle applies when a pension fund talks of its funding level.
Yeah.
It talks of a projection that it is making that we have this number of people, and in terms of the demographics, these are the number of people who will be exiting on normal retirement. So we need to put a certain amount to be able to take care of these people. Now, if that is what is being used in the whole industry, GEPF is not an exception to that.
Okay.
It does that. But let me also bring this one onto the picture. This reviewal of actual interest has been done since 1996.
Okay.
However, the review of it after at least 3 years started in 2004. And between 2004 to date, it is only the second time that it has dropped. All along, it has always been going up.
Okay.
And probably this explains why all of a sudden those that are affected
But feeling ngathi imali isincane. But I mean, Baba Smanga, 14%, that is a lot ukuthi kukhathelwe. So I'm sure bona babuka lo 14% ukuthi estimate is around 14% yama deductions that you can actually incur. So bona babona lapho, and that's where they think ukuthi that's where the biggest loss is.
And probably let's not call it a cut, because that's where the uproar is. This is a determination of what is your true value of the money. Let's make this example. I'm going to also go very simple. If now you are a cow is 5,000 rand, and as the GEPF we say for each year that you have worked, we will give you 1 cow.
Okay.
And you have worked for 10 years, it means we will give you 10 cows. At the current value of the cow, because there's a scarcity of cows,
yes,
a cow is 5,000 rand. And come when you leave, because all of a sudden there's enough grazing, there are a whole lot of cows, and the price of a cow has gone down or has gone up. For this example, we say the price of cow has gone to about 4,500.
Okay.
It means we will still give you 10 cows, but at the value then of a cow being 4,500. So we did not cut. And the converse would also be true, because if at the point when you leave, the cow is no longer 5,000, it's now 5,500. If we give you a cow at 5,000, we would have robbed you because we would have underpaid you.
Yes, absolutely.
So this actual interest can either, at any point when it's evaluated, can either go up or go down.
Okay. All right, Bausman.
So, and for the period of since 2004, it has always been going up, and members have never had a problem that why is my money increasing so fast? And only twice, the previous, I think in 2014 and now in 2021, that is when it has only dropped.
Okay, hayi siyabonga kakhulu baba ngaleyo ncazelo leyo mbukelo uyezwa ukuthi njengoba kushiwo lapho ukuthi lento lena icalculate ngokuthi wena usebenze ngesikhathi esingakanani before uhamba phela uyo retire ngoba uthi mungena emsebenzini uthi uyosebenza permanently bamele ukuthi wena uzoresigna noma uretire at the age of maybe 60 or 65. So kumele ke wena mbukeli wazi ukuthi umubuka ama statements wakho uyitshela ukuthi mhlawumbe ufuna ukuresigna noma ufuna ukuhamba emsebenzini, you need to go check those statements. Siyabuya khona manje mbukeli, we are live. Please give us a call shortly after this break. Welcome back. Ingcingo zethu seyivuliwe ke manje ungasithinta la e-studio 0117140670 alternatively 0608449857. Sikhuluma umbukeli ngokuthi uma ke wena usuresigna emsebenzini uyithole mhlambe usushodelwa ile mali obusu expect ukuthi uyokwakha umuzi kanokusho noma uyothenga imoto, uthi masufika ebhangi kuthiwe cha labantu abebephethe ipension yakho bakunikeze imali encane kanje. Uyachaza ke ubaba uSimanga Selemeni who is the communications head GEPF onichazelayo ke mbukela ukuthi yini kahle kahle eyenza ukuthi uyithole wena usubone ngathi imali yakho engathi incenziwe. Baba Usimanga, I mean, let's talk about this. I know ukuthi busachaze le ye resignation. What happens then when kuba ikhampani ekforsa into early retirement or banikeze ukuthi nithatha ama packages like ama retrenchments just to remedy whatever situation across board?
Okay, in that case, let me make an example with what we have just gone through in government.
Yeah.
Where government made an announcement that they need to reduce their salary bill by encouraging public servants to leave employment at between 55 and 59 years.
Yes.
That was called an early retirement.
Okay.
Because the normal retirement starts at 60.
At 60 years.
Now, in terms of the government employees pension law, when you leave before 60, we refer to that as an early retirement, and it has penalties.
Okay.
In terms of that law, you are then penalized 0.33% for each month until you reach 60.
Oh, geez.
And
okay.
that would come about, say, for instance, if you leave at 55 and you are left with 60 months before you reach 60, it will come to about 20% of your pension will then be penalized.
Okay.
However, where it is initiated by an employer and an employer makes a commitment that it will pay your penalties, which is what the National Treasury did
Okay.
with, when they wanted to reduce their salary bill. It therefore means you will get what you would have accumulated up until at that point when you exit on early retirement. And your money will not be penalized.
Okay, ngoba wena othe ufuna ukuphuma emsebenzini.
The employer who initiated this early retirement will pay the penalties on your behalf.
All right, look, maybe asilokhuze kuthiwa baba uSimanga this time around yini eyenzakele that has caused such a big uproar from ama government employees ukuthi mase bazi ukuthi kahle kahle if you resign early or uphume early for whatever reasons emsebenzini mhlawumbe uthola omunye umsebenzi ongcono wherever bathola ukuthi manje sebenamalokhuzana imali yabo engathi sikhathiwe yini engathi benze ngathi bebengayazi lento and ama grievances were they justified in this instance?
Look, this is only because if there was a justifiable uproar, this would have started in 2004.
Yes.
When actuarial factors were required to be reviewed after 3 years.
Yes.
But as I indicated, in the past since 2004, which would be what, 18 years?
Yeah.
It is only the second time that the actual interest has gone
reviewed.
down.
Okay.
All along, it has always been going up. Now,
Okay.
we understand the uproar because it then says, I had expected
Such
a
and
particular
such.
amount on resignation, and we must specify that. It only affects those who will resign after the 1st of November 2022. For those who will go on normal retirement, it does not affect them.
Okay.
And it is because of what I explained. We projected a particular way, you living before those projections, therefore we must calculate the money with today's value and not the future value.
Okay, all right. Ake kezwakala baba uSimanga. Nangu baba uMasimini eEast London. Masimini sakwamukela ohlelweni, singacela umbuzo wakho noma umbono namhlanje, singakusiza kanjani?
Malo Thasi kunjani?
Ndiphilile tata, njani?
Ngiyaphila sisi Nkosakhonto. Sisi ngicela ukubuza apha kuTata uMasimini, xa aseleke ngokungaresignanga ne, then bewu-affectwa i-divorce.
Okay.
Uyabona?
Yebo.
So then baya-accumulate per month i-deductions or i-penalties ke ngoku to the day ye-divorce okanye the day ye-decree eyenzeka kwi-divorce.
Okay.
So imali i-penalty iba khona kuwe wena mntu ushekayo ke ngoku xa usele uthethwe imali zakho.
Okay.
Half year decree.
And Tata Masimini, uthetha uba i-divorce was initiated before uya kwi-retirement and it.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
okay. Hayi ndiyakuvisisa ke Tata Masimini. Ithi sibuza ubaba uSimanga. Baba uSimanga uyabuza ubaba if i-divorce was actually initiated before a resigner, is i-divorcee is the partner lo ohambayo, does he have to share pension yakhe nalo muntu lona, and how do you then calculate leyo lokhuzana leyo pension?
Okay. I think we are dealing with two instances here.
Yeah.
Before 1st of August 2019, and I need also to re-emphasize this, the issue about whether or not you share your pensionable money or estate with your partner is not automatic.
Okay.
One. Two, it is not determined by the GEPF. It is determined by parties that are involved in a divorce when they are discussing the sharing of the estate.
Okay.
What comes to the GEPF is a divorce decree which serves as a court order to the GEPF to say these two people are no longer together, and in terms of the agreement of this divorce, they have agreed to even share their pensionable money.
Okay.
And this is what they are sharing. They are sharing 50% of everything, or they are sharing whatever percentage from the point when they started getting married.
Okay.
Now, what public servants, the mistake that is done by public servants is to think that it is automatic, that because I am married to a public servant, when there's a divorce, whether or not that is explicitly stated in your divorce decree,
Okay.
that there must be a share of pension. So the second thing that I need to address from the question is, before the 1st of August 2019, what used to happen is that when the divorce decree says a certain percentage you must share with your ex-spouse, we used to advance the payment to the ex-spouse.
Okay.
Pay the ex-spouse if, say, example says 50% of pension. We will pay the amount to the ex-spouse, and then you will return it with interest, you as a member of the GEPF.
Okay.
You will return it with interest. Now, it was then discovered that that interest, other people cannot afford it, and what it does, it leads to people at the end when they retire, having to settle a huge bill because of that interest. Then parties at the Public Service Coordinating Bargaining Council, unions and the employer, agreed that the GEPF needs to amend that rule,
Okay.
change that rule such that you don't have to incur interest. Now, in doing that, what has now been done is, if we get such a court order or a divorce decree, we will pay the percentage to the ex-spouse,
Okay.
and cut equivalence of the money that we would have paid you off your service. So if it's saying 50%, we pay the ex-spouse 50% of the amount, and if you had 20 years with us, we then cut 10 years
Okay.
of that, and then you are left with 10 years.
Okay.
So that's what has been happening since the 1st of August 2019, we're no longer putting interest, but we are reducing your service with equivalence of what the court order or the divorce decree told us to pay the ex-spouse.
Okay. Oh wow, very interesting. Mbukela ke sicela na usishayele ucingo la ku 0117140670 noma 0608449857. Sikhuluma zonke izinto zama pensions ukuthi uma ngabe wena uresigna emsebenzini noma uya ku early retirement usuyithola imali yakho lo bukade uyimele yepension yipi ongayenza. Sithembe ubaba uMasimini eEast London uncedekile lapho. Mbukeli, we back shortly after this break in Ngayindawo. We're back live with Yilungelo Lakho khona la kumamba phambili SABC 1 Mzansi for sure. Mina ngumangcolo singihleli lana nobaba uSimanga Selemeni oyi communications head lapha ya GEPF. Sikhuluma ke ngokuthi mbukeli ama pensions wenu mangabe wena mhlawumbe uya resign noma uthatha early retirement yini leyenza ukuthi mhlawumbe ke uyithole wena, especially uma ngabe wena uhambe before lesikhathi sokuthi uresign yindaba uyithola imali yakhe ngathi siyashota lapha ya. Uyasichazela ke ubaba uSimanga, ungasishayela la ucingo e-studio 0117140670 noma 0608449857. Those numbers will be on your screens there. Okay, so Baba USimanga, maybe let's just clarify this once and for all. Before Siya Kefini, you said kuba nama divorce decree in terms of ama divorce, but generally who determines that amount ye interest that has to be deducted umuntu mese lokhuza mese phuma either by them resigning or them being forced into early retirement? Is it SARS, inini, GEPF, noma company, ubani?
I take it here you are asking about who determines who gets what between the two warring parties in a divorce.
Well, not in just a divorce. Ngisho ukuthi umuntu mese hamba, let's say somebody is resigning from a government entity, mhlawumbe uya kwenye noma usoyivulela ibhizinisi yakhe. How is that interest then linked to izo deductor calculated? Ubani ofika ne-order yokuthi thina sithe, because you were just saying now of ukuthi kuvane kufika abantu e-GEPF bacabanga ukuthi nina enibeke endicide nge-amount ekuthiwa kumele i-deduct kanti cha.
I think here we are talking about two things.
Yeah.
I said in order to determine the benefits due to a member, we use a certain formula.
Okay.
And that formula is we look at the years of service, multiply that by a salary, an average salary over a period of 2 years.
Okay, so in that instance, kuba yinini GEPF decide.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we will then get a value that says this person, what is due to this person is 1 million rand for argument's sake. And then we must then tell SARS to say this person is resigning and what is due to him is 1 million rand.
Okay.
Then SARS will then issue out a tax directive to say on that 1 million rand, this is the amount that I'm gonna take. Because remember, at the point when you were contributing to the GPF, your contributions were deducted before tax.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
So it means your investment was tax-free.
Yes.
Up until at that point when you exit.
Okay.
So hence we have to declare your money to SARS for SARS to take what is due to SARS. And then whatever remains, we will then pay it over to you.
Okay.
So more often than not, you will not necessarily get 1 million rand that is written there on the statement because of the tax implications.
All right. Okay, and then in line with the proposed bill, Baba USimanga, to grant abantu access to a portion ye lokuzana yama pensions wabo, does then this lokuzana calculation or the actuarial interest factor then come in? Does it affect ukuthi umuntu sekhiphe u20,000 kulo nyaka and they still maybe going to go on working for and maybe another 2-3 years before they resign? Does it have any factor there, any effect?
I think you have gone now to a new topic altogether. And
let's just factor it in.
It's a very It's a very delicate topic.
Yeah.
It has so many moving parts.
Yeah, but
because remember, initially when it was announced in 2020, government proposed that people who are still in service can access their money from pension funds.
Okay.
And then at that point, we indicated as GEPF that public servants will not necessarily be part of this.
Okay.
Because our pension fund, different from private pension funds, private pension funds mainly are defined contributions, which means you have a separate account where you are contributing a certain amount every month, and at the end of the year, say for instance, you were contributing 1,000 rand. At the end of the year, you know you've got 12,000 plus interest. Whereas in a GEPF, in a defined benefit fund, we do not have individual accounts. We have a big pot of money where those that are still in service, their contributions are getting there, and then they pay for those that are on pension.
Okay.
So it's more like a push-push type of a situation. So the question at that point was, then which part of the pot do you get, and how do we do that? Now, without going further with this, it has since changed, because remember, government made an announcement earlier last year that they are going to introduce two-pot system.
Yes.
Where people, the first pot will be for emergency, people will contribute in that pot and have access to it every after 12 months, once of access to it every after 12 months. And the 2/3 will not be touched, and people will then be expected to get it only at retirement, which will then assist in reducing the number of people that are relying on social security. Now, that proposal is still being polished.
Yeah.
Hence, the last announcement was that it will no longer be implementable on the 1st of March 2023, but it will be moved to the 1st of March 2024 to allow the industry to deal with the modalities of how this is going to work. So that is why I'm saying, probably when we discuss it now, it will confuse the viewers out there, because at the later stage, when National Treasury make another announcement, probably other things would have changed.
All right, but bengibeka le Babu Smanga, because we actually were discussing this njengoba ngisho it's still a proposed bill ukuthi amalokhuzana the final ama-notions akaka announced manje. So thank you so much for clarity ukuthi isipushiwe back to push to 2024 now.
Yes.
No longer next year, which is quite interesting. Asathe utsiyetse Motawung lana uthi from the morning until the evening, the officials crave for new means and avenues to access GEPF to defraud the fund for themselves. Very same public servants who've denied increment are in the risk of their pension being stolen. These are just our views abantu. Uthi omunye ududu Simpiwe Mhlongo uthi since September I did get my money for UIF. I'm still waiting now. Okay, that's a completely different one. All right, so let me see ukuthi uKenny Ngubane yena uthini. Usho department la uthi Department of Labor, they don't tell you what to bring. It's difficult now. They want a lot of things. You don't get your money, but you were contributing for many years. When you are not working, they ask this and that. So uthini baba ukuthi abantu bathi imali zabo abayitholi even if they've been working for a certain amount of time kuleyo lokhuzane kulawo ma department. Is it even possible?
No, I think they are talking of Department of Labor, and I heard a UIF, unemployment insurance fund. So those questions are not what we are dealing. We are dealing with pension, not unemployment insurance fund.
All right. Yeah. Okay. All right. Mbukeli ungasifonela ucingo lapho nazi incingo lapho izovela on your screen. Sizobuya emva kwaleli khefu. Please don't go anywhere. We are talking all matters pension nokuthi yini engabe yenzela ukuthi wena mbukeli uyithole usureceive imali encane kunaleyo kade uyibona ku statement sakho uyitshela ukuthi wena isamba semali lesi ngizothola imiliyoni uthi mase uyithola after wonke ama deductions no SARS sebethathe yabi imali wena ususele ngo 400,000 rand. Siyabuya emva kwaleli khefu ngayindawo. Bukeli 011-714-0670 and 060-844-9857. Those are the magic numbers ukuthi uxhumane nathi la e-studio usibuze ngani noma yiphi into ofuna ukuthi wena uyazi mayelana nepension yakho, mhlambe uyithole isishoda awazi ukuthi kwenzeke kanjani, ukhona kubaba uSimanga Selemeni ovela e-GEPF uyasichazela ezinye izinto. All right, so laba ba affected Babu Smang, is there any way to remedy is situation yabo? So let's say the people that have resigned bese bethola isamba esincane, is there any remedy after you've received that final instruction ukuthi I percentage actual now and calculator ngayo this is how much you are going to get? Ikhona recourse yabo, or that's just standard ukuthi le mali mase once we've calculated it, that is all you're going to get and you can't go and contest or ufune further investigation ukuthi ubhekisise ukuthi imali yakho mhlambe ngabe bayithathe ngamanga yini?
Remember, when you resign, you are exiting the system.
Before isikhathi yebo.
So we are calculating up until on that day when you resign.
Okay.
So you're getting all your money.
Okay.
You no longer have a relationship with the GPF.
So they can't
You are no
dispute
longer
lo
a
mali
member.
and banikeze yona. Are you saying that you don't make mistakes in terms of calculation yama deductions la when we calculate abantu?
We do get sometimes, it's a very rare occasion, we do get people wanting to be recalculated.
Yeah.
And that we will do.
Okay.
To do the recalculation. But remember, the calculations are so accurate to a point that they have been shared with you. You don't see them for the first time when you leave.
Okay.
They are there on your statement.
Yeah.
That you receive, that you can request anytime. So it is not like you are being surprised when you leave that, no, you no longer have this, you have this. That is why even with this, the fall in actual interest, we are putting it out there to say, please note that we're no longer using the 2018.
Okay.
And because we're no longer using the 2018 valuation interest, we are now using 2021. And between 2018 and 2021, the valuation interest has dropped by 14%, or averagely at 14%. So if you decide to go on resignation, you will know very well that what you saw in October on your benefit statement under resignation benefit will be different with what you will see in November under resignation benefit.
Okay. So basically, does this mean that if a member wants to then exit GEPF or terminate their membership, kumele ba-check eqala ukuthi which side of the actual interest they're going to be calculated on?
I would say
you can't do a predetermination, obviously, because you said it's actual. Bayenza manje ngaleso sikhathi ohamba ngaso.
you can, but all what I would encourage members to do is to be aware of their benefit statement.
Yeah.
To insist on receiving that, check their amounts, and where they have dispute, they can even come and ask, and they will get an explanation on how we get to each amount.
Okay. Okay.
But I still want to emphasize that the amount that you see there, that is why that statement is written estimated amounts, is because what you see there has not gone to SARS.
Yes.
So that when it goes to SARS, you may not necessarily get what is
full.
stated there because you still have to pay tax.
All right, and then maybe, Baba Smang, I mean, we spoke earlier on about the fact that Benenzama road shows on this very same matter. Can you share some of the issues Lampeni's Pikapile from Abantu that they maybe didn't understand when it comes to how you calculate the interest in the deductions?
Most of the issues that we picked up mainly are conspiracy theories.
As a team.
Mainly. I remember one comment was about, because ESCOM has been struggling, now you have reduced our money for you to fund ESCOM, which is not true. No money was reduced.
Okay.
Money was recalculated using today's value. The other one was that we are now taking their money to fund SAA, that we have taken their money to fund SAA.
So there was no merit kwezinye itori.
Yes,
It's
and we are not funding
bahambe
SAA. We are
bayoyibuza.
not part of SAA. We are not funding SAA. So now, those theories shows a lack of proper information out there that we probably, as the GPF, need to double our efforts in taking this information to our 1.7 million members, 500,000 pensioners, and over 1.2 million active members. Share this information with them, and we appreciate platforms like this so that we are able to share this information, because where there is then a vacuum of this information, these conspiracy theories get
They
all
take over.
and end up making people to panic unnecessarily. Hence, I said, if you have no intention to resign, these actual interests do not affect you. Your money is still the same. It will still continue growing if you are going to retire at a normal age of retirement.
Okay.
It only affects two people, or in two instances, when you resign or when you retire with less than 10 years of service. Those are the only people that are affected by this drop.
Okay.
Not every of those 1.2 million active members, because not all of them are intending to resign.
Absolutely, Exactly. And I want to follow up on the question, Mrs. Mbugeli. It is time for our final ad break. We'll be back shortly after this. Asingabe sachitha isikhathi ngoba phela sesifike emaphethelweni ohlelo. Baba uSimanga, nangu Moleboge ngithando lethu Khaba uthi my mom retired in 2001 as a student nurse. Up until today, she hasn't received what is due to her. We did claim in the Bloemfontein office and she was told to wait for 18 months, and that was in 2019. Even now, she's still waiting.
That's very surprising. That's very surprising because we currently are running a campaign where we are looking for those people who worked for government and never claimed their pension. So, because how we classify an unclaimed pension is if we go for a period of a month or so without receiving your contribution, it means you have left
the system,
but you have not come forward to claim.
Okay.
And then after a period of 2 years, we then classify that money as unclaimed. And you need to come forward to claim it.
Okay.
Now, we do have names of those people who have not claimed. Yes, we do know where they used to work.
Okay.
What we do not know is, one, where they are in terms of physical addresses, but secondly, why aren't they coming forward to claim?
Uthi bayile nje Bloemfontein office baba kwathiwa bamele 18 months, and this was in 2019. It's already 2023.
It's very surprising. That is why I'm saying probably that person you will need to give that person my contact to come and talk to me directly, because we have a turnaround time of 60 days.
Okay.
To pay a claim.
From a claim,
yes.
Okay.
Now, it's not possible for a person to wait for 18 months. Why would you wait for 18 months? Because anything extra than 60 days that we have as a turnaround time, that money accrues interest from us. We then have to pay you interest. So we have no interest. We have no interest in sitting with claims for more than 60 days, because then it costs us a lot.
Okay.
Now, I will have to have that specific case to understand why is the person asked to wait for 18 months.
Okay, all right. Sisimolebo heng thando lethu kaba, please uzibonile izinamba zikaba uSimanga lana e-studio. Please sicela ukuthi nibathinte directly e-office lakhe le GEPF uthi ke uzozama ukuthi anisize because uyasho ukuthi turnaround time yabo iyasho ukuthi u60 days ekumele ngabe imali kaManga kumele ngabe yakhishwa ngaleso sikhathi. All right, do we have time for a final, just your final assertions Babu Simanga? Yini ekumele abantu bayazi very quickly, just ama members wenu, as you were saying ukuthi if kuukuthi unless you've resigned then you don't need to worry about it. So laba bazo resign, how would you advise them?
My advice would be, one, to all the 1.2 million plus members of the GEPF, do not panic unless you intending to resign.
Okay.
Secondly, these actual factors will only be here for a period of 3 years because they are reviewed after 3 years. There's a possibility that after 3 years, they can either go up or still go down more. If you are intending to resign and it's necessary for you to resign, you are not being robbed of anything.
Okay.
You are paid what is due to you at the current value.
Okay. All right.
So nobody is being robbed.
All right. Babu Simanga, thank you so much for joining us, Baba. Namhlanje uBabu Simanga Selemeni ovela kwi-Comms Department ye-GEPF usizileke mbukeli namhlanje wasincedisa ukuthi si-understand ukuthi njengoba nikhala ngokuthi impension yeni ngathi iyancinzwa yini kahle ukuthi izathu ezingenza ukuthi impension yakho incinzwe. Mbukeli njengoba laba kade besifonela ku-Facebook besibhalela ku-Facebook uMolebo Heng, please go to our Facebook page. Iy'namba zikaBabu Simanga zilapho. Uma nani nisafuna usizo nizothola lapha kwi-repeat yohlelo lethu kusasa ngo-11. Yakajala intokazi ithi nibe ne-festive season emnandi. So nibona next year ngo-2023 uNkulunkulu mesithandile. Ngithi kuni nonke emakhaya nisale kahle nibe ne-festive right. Bye bye.